Welcome back, and work continues on trimming the door frame. So the next thing to do is trim this actual window frame that holds the acrylic glass, which you can see there with the oversized flanges right now, and just cleco it into place, and there's the acrylic. And meanwhile you can see Jeff laid up that outer door skin that you saw that he had prepped in the last video. So there it is under vacuum. It doesn't look like he had any issues with that. And just to test fit it, here we've put the door frame over the outside skin, even though the skin is still sort of sitting on the mold there and hasn't fully cured. But anyway, so it looks like it fits nicely on there, which was the goal. So the next step with the door frame was to cut out where the locks actually come out through the side flange or the side face there of the frame. And this was tricky because there's sort of 4 paths that have to be run kind of on a weird angle with the short bit. So you can see it's having to get in there fairly tight, and I was kind of nervous to see how that was going to come out, and initially it looked like everything was going smoothly. So you can see they're running one path into the next one, and it's again, it has to cut through quite a few layers there, but it was going smoothly. And meanwhile, other stuff is continuing in the shop. So this is one of those rear walls of the tanks, the straight tank. That's been sort of the mold for that, the first half of it being half laid up. And the guy's also prepping this one. So this is the leading edge sort of ribs of the tank, and where the doors meet up with that. So that one's in the process of getting the mold underway. And this is the first of the lower wing skin plugs, and it's on its final sanding before waxing, so that one's getting close to being able to pull a mold from that one, which is a bit of a milestone there. And meanwhile, work continues on the other one. So this is the other lower skin, and that one's on the first round of sanding before being primed. So coming along with that one, still way more, or quite a lot to do. And this is the first of the upper wing skins, and again, first round of sanding before priming. So we're getting sort of all 3 of them moving along right now, and the other one's sort of just sitting there waiting to have work done on it. And this is those braces that meet up with the firewall. So this has been waxed, and all it needs now is the rubber profile on it, and then it can be ready for a mold. And this is the other one, rear wall of the tank, so that one's ready. Just needs the rubber profile put on there, and the first half of that mold can be done. So we're catching up on quite a few of these plugs and getting them ready for molds. And likewise, here's the one for the strake edges that bond to the doors. And so you can see Devon's just putting the rubber profile around that one and getting that one ready to have the mold laid up. So back on the door frame, here it is with the all the openings cut out for the locks. And unfortunately, when I was running those tool paths, every one of them had the bit cutting a little bit too deep on the back or the lower side of the opening, and so it's compromised the strength by taking too much material away. So we're going to actually have to lay up that door frame again, and then do all the work to trim it. But it's something that we need to do. The other one, or the one that's sitting there right now, is just not strong enough. Anyway, I did want to show you how this window frame sort of sits in there. So on the new one, that would be bonded into place there, and then the acrylic gets bonded to that. So here you'll see how the window sits in there, and I still have all the protective plastic on that window just so it doesn't get scratched while we're test fitting it and things like that. So anyway, a bit of a setback there, having to do that frame again, but the new one will be better, and you can't just patch something together when you know that you have to do it right. So anyway, we'll be working on that next week, laying up a new one. And meanwhile, we discovered a new shop that's just across the way from us that has a laser cutting machine, and this is it here. So we've got them cutting these little internal parts for the door locks for us, the little chromoly steel little pieces that I showed you before on the lock. So you'll see more work coming out of there soon, but it's really exciting to have them available to do stuff for us like that. Anyway, here's that door frame mold again, getting prepped for being laying up their new frame. And lastly, here is the mold for the main spar, and I was just putting in there this little gasket seal on the ends there, because it's a 3-piece mold, and then it gets bolted together. So there it is, all bolted together now, and you see there's basically where the gasket is in behind those, or between that join there. And so this one just needs a waxing, and we'll be ready to lay up that mold after, you know, cutting the core and cutting the fabric for it. So that'll be something possibly next week. Anyway, that's our update for this week. Thanks again for watching.